Unfortunately, you are not going to win every single game at the major league level, and the Phillies, they lost yesterday afternoon's ball game, I should say, the series finale to the Baltimore Orioles. They lost that ball game 5-1. However, they did win the series 2-1, which is really all you can ask for. Like I say a lot, if you're winning series pretty much every single time or close to it, then you are going to be one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. You're going to set yourself up for great success heading into the postseason and into the playoffs. And that's exactly what the Phillies have been doing this year. They are among one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. They're right there, one of the top teams, World Series contenders, all that fun stuff. So another series win by the Phillies against the Baltimore Orioles. They are off here on Thursday before starting a 3-game road series tomorrow night on Friday down in Texas against the Rangers. It's also the start of a 10-game road trip. The Phillies won't be back home at Citizens Bank Park until August 18th. So a little while there, a pretty long road trip, but that's just the way it goes with the scheduling here and there throughout a long Major League Baseball season. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Now, it was an early start for the Phillies yesterday on Wednesday, a 12:35 start for them. Pretty early. Happens. You do have day games. So, a little bit of midday blues, shall I say, in that 5-1 loss to the Phillies. They obviously got that huge series opening win Monday against the Orioles, 13-3. They shut them out 5-0 Tuesday night, and then they lost 5-1 in the series finale Wednesday with Ranger Suarez on the mound, one of their better starting pitchers. Now, the Phillies offense did still have 9 hits, but they could only just score that 1 run. So, not getting the job done there with runners in scoring position. In fact, they were 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in that 5-1 loss to the Orioles Wednesday afternoon. And honestly, you're just not going to win ball games not delivering there with runners in scoring position. The Phillies have had trouble with that all season long. It's one of their biggest areas of improvement that they do need to improve upon heading into the playoffs if they want to have a legit opportunity at winning a World Series championship. You can't always rely on the power. They obviously have Kyle Schwarber, who can change a game any time with one swing of the bat. Same with Bryce Harper and some of these other guys. But you do have to come up with these singles, these extra base hits here, just playing smart baseball, sacrifice flies, all that kind of stuff, bunts, anything to score these runners when you're not having that power kind of day. The Phillies were unable to do that yesterday against the Orioles. 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Just a bad performance there for them. Trey Turner had 3 of the Phillies' 9 hits in that ball game, including driving in the only run off an RBI single in the 5th inning. Made it, obviously the Phillies, their only run there. But good for Trey Turner. He had been struggling a bit at the plate. Some little bit of mini slump there for Trey Turner. But hopefully those 3 hits get him back on track moving forward here, because him at the top of the lineup, getting on base, getting these hits, it just makes this Phillies lineup so much better. I did mention Ranger Suarez was on the mound in that loss yesterday. Wasn't his best stuff for Ranger Suarez. Kind of a common theme for the Phillies starting pitchers here recently. Most notably talking about Zach Wheeler. Hasn't had his best stuff throughout his last 4 starts. Ranger Suarez in the loss yesterday to the Orioles went 6 1/3 innings. He allowed 9 hits, 0 walks, which is always great to see. Now, he did hit a batter, 5 earned runs, and just 3 strikeouts, plus the loss against the Orioles. He unfortunately allowed a 3-run home run in the 4th inning. Also, 4 of the Orioles' 5 runs they scored in that ball game all came in that 4th inning. So just a little bit of trouble Ranger Suarez ran into in that 4th. And ultimately, that's all the Orioles needed, because the Phillies were only able to muster 1 run against them. 5-1 loss. Off day today, regroup, and head into this 10-game road trip starting tomorrow night. Get right back to the win, column, and back on the right track. Zach Wheeler, news broke out yesterday that he did receive an MRI because he had right shoulder soreness after that start against the Tigers over last weekend on Saturday. He obviously picked up that loss. Wasn't his best performance, but he did feel right shoulder soreness, which is his throwing arm. A little bit more than usual, just normal pitching soreness after a start. He did get an MRI. It did come back clean, so that's good news for Zack Wheeler and the Phillies. He was originally scheduled to make his next start Friday night, tomorrow night, to kick off that series against the Rangers. But with that right shoulder soreness, the Phillies decided to push his start back despite having a clean MRI. Nothing really wrong there with him, just soreness. But they did decide to push his start back. As of now, he's penciled in to start the series finale against the Rangers now on Sunday. We'll see if that happens. Rob Thompson was saying they're kind of going to play it day by day to see how that shoulder feels over the weekend, over these next few days. But there really should be nothing to worry about Zack Wheeler. He feels fine about it. The Phillies feel fine about it. So we'll see. Right now he's penciled in to make his next start Sunday rather than tomorrow night on Friday. Again, there is the possibility that he could be pushed back again if that soreness does linger into the next couple of days. I did also say that Zack Wheeler hasn't had his best stuff throughout his last couple of starts. In fact, his last 4 starts haven't really gone his way. He had a 2.17 ERA following his July 6th complete game one-hitter. Just great stuff out of Zack Wheeler that day. He was terrific, really up until that point of the season. In that complete game one-hitter, the one hit that he did allow was unfortunately a solo home run, so wasn't a shutout. Also wasn't a perfect game because he did allow a hit, he did allow a run, but nonetheless, dominant stuff by Zack Wheeler in that ball game and leading up to it. 2.17 ERA after that ball game. Now, in his previous 4 starts, he has allowed 13 earned runs in his last 4 starts, which were 23 and 2/3 innings combined there for Zack Wheeler. 13 earned runs, 14 total runs, and now his ERA went from 2.17 after that complete game to 2.64 heading into his next start as of now on Sunday. Still very good ERA, still very good season numbers by Zack Wheeler. He stacks up well against any pitcher in the National League, any pitcher in the major leagues, but just some struggles here for Zack Wheeler over his last 4 starts. Hopefully this right shoulder soreness isn't anything serious. The MRI came back clean, as I said, so structurally it's not, but you never know how these things play out and affect a pitcher as the season goes on, especially an older pitcher like Zack Wheeler. So hopefully he can deal with that, come back strong, and get back to his dominant ways, which I have all the faith in the world that he will. Staying on the topic of starting pitching, Aaron Nola hasn't pitched for the Phillies since May 14th. He's been dealing with an ankle injury, rib injury. He's been on the IL since May 15th. So very long time for Aaron Nola over these last few months, not pitching for the Phillies. He did make his second rehab start down in AAA with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs yesterday on Wednesday. He went 3 and 2/3 innings, allowed 4 hits. He did have 2 walks, allowed just 1 earned run, and he had 3 strikeouts in those 3 and 2/3 innings. As I said, his second rehab start. His first start, he was very solid there. So in total, through these first 2 starts with the Iron Pigs at AAA, Aaron Nola has allowed 7 hits, 3 walks, including those 2 yesterday, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts in 6 and 2/3 innings. He is on track to make a return to the Phillies, possibly later on this month. We'll see how he progresses as long as he doesn't suffer any setbacks, but he is expected to make maybe 1 more rehab start down there in AAA. And then after that, he could return to the Phillies starting rotation, or we'll see what they do with him. He should, but there's always the possibility maybe he slides into the bullpen. Who knows? But he's definitely, in my opinion, going to the starting rotation, at least for now. Maybe come playoff time, the Phillies will make a decision to move him to the bullpen, depending on how he's pitching, because we all know he had struggled throughout his first 9 starts of the season before landing on the IL. Very unusual season for Aaron Nola. As I said, hasn't pitched at the major league level or for the Phillies since May 14th. Still making his way back, ramping, I should say, up and getting back on track to rejoin the Phillies potentially later on in August here. And another guy down in the minor leagues, not that Aaron Nola is a minor league player, but he is pitching in the minor leagues right now. Aiden Miller, one of the Phillies' top prospects, is heating up at the plate down in Double-A for the Reading Fightin' Phils. The Phillies were able to survive the trade deadline this July, keeping their top 3 prospects, Andrew Painter, the starting pitcher, Aiden Miller, their shortstop, infielder there, and Justin Crawford, the outfielder. They were able to keep all 3. Great for the future. Hopefully these guys can make an impact at the major league level sooner rather than later. All still very young kids. So Who knows when that will happen exactly. But Aiden Miller, he was struggling, and I mean struggling big time in his first full season in 2025 at the AA level. He was a very good hitter throughout the early parts of his minor league career, but then kind of stalled out here in 2025 for most of the AA season. He has a 233 batting average in 2025, but he has been getting hot at the plate as of late. He has a 400 batting average so far in August. Now, it's only August 7th, but he's getting hits, getting on base, doing all that kind of stuff, getting the job done at the plate so far this month, which is great to see because every other month, just not good stuff out of Aiden Miller at the plate down there in the minor leagues. He actually also has an 8-game hit streak now, and during that 8-game hit streak, he has 3 multi-hit games, including a 3-hit game in there, and he's batting .387 during this 8-game hit streak with 4 doubles, 1 home run, and 41 RBIs. So just very good signs of improvement. Hopefully, he can continue this hotness to end the season and go into 2026 on a high note and potentially improve his chances at joining the Philadelphia Phillies roster at the major league level very soon if he continues this hot streak. He did just turn 21 years old in this past June, so very young kid, still could have a lot of development to go. Obviously, just turning 21, so we can't really put too much pressure on him or care too much about his struggles here, moving up a level in AA. Completely different adjustment period for some guys. He'll likely still go to AAA before he makes his major league debut at some point. But still, nonetheless, Aiden Miller has a ton of talent, great hitter, great traits, great skills. So we'll see how that turns out for him. It's just a good sign that he is hitting well at the plate right now because he had struggled for a long time in 2025. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Enjoy the off day today, and then the Phillies are right back at it tomorrow night on the road in Texas to take on the Texas Rangers. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, go Phils.